Oh, hello YouTube. Here's a video of something I've been meaning to show everyone, and I think I pointed it out in a couple of past videos and has been meaning to talk about it, but I've never done a video on it, so I guess it was time to go take a look. This is a 1987. This is an M945A1. And they had two variances of these trucks. Everybody goes, oh, those are just military trucks. Well, there's actually a lot of variances of these, but this is an A1. And a 945 is just about as rare as you can get, because a 945 came with factory 1400 by 20 duals. And none of the other trucks like this, although there was many trucks like this, none of the other trucks used that exhaust pipe. And none of the other trucks It had a little different holder. Shield and everything's all the same, but the upper extension was different on a 45, and the axles were widened. They're the same rear ends, except they got more springs, and they got a wider axle flange. Same thing as the other trucks, but they're like I say, they're just a little bit wider, and that was to allow for the 1400 by 20 duals. You do see these with duals, but they're 1120s. And when they went to the A2 series, which we'll show you another truck here in a minute, they just went 1400 by 20 singles. Also, these are wider spaced. Distance of center to there is a little bit longer. This is a 25-ton haul body. It's off a Volvo A25A truck, and to my knowledge it's the only haul body that was ever built that used a single action dump truck cylinder, out of the factory. This was a project that we put together I think a couple of years ago, year and a half, 2 years ago now, and it's an off-road haul truck for us. It actually works very well. I have another one separate to go. The A1 trucks used a non-turbocharged 855 Cummins, and they had a few cab revisions when they went to the A2s. And I'll crawl up here, you can see the A1, how this big housing comes out into the floor a long ways. On an A2 it doesn't have that sticking out there because of the smaller engine, but anyway, a little history of this truck. These were a what they called a military bridge truck, and the bridge trucks carried a big floating bridge they could lay out to get cargo and things over rivers and stuff. Quick deployment bridge. This particular truck I got out of Eastern Surplus Company, but I don't think they built much over 100 of these, and they actually put documents out for an A2 version of this 945, but it never went into production. They killed production on it after the A1s, and they switched over to manufacturers, and they never produced it. Also, none of the 945s were hard tops, and I got that hard top off of eBay, and it was brand new in the box still, and I actually got it, and the shipper had damaged it very badly, and we had to straighten it out and Bondo it and fix it. But it is a new hard top. I should have got a lawyer involved with that shipper, just a bunch of jerks. But anyway, like I say, this is a 945A1. Came out factory as a winch, 855 Cummins in it, has a Allison automatic transmission, 25-ton haul body, and we did not change any of the lengths. We ended up cutting the rear end off, but this is all factory frame, and this big side webbing here is factory. And as you can tell, it's not painted or anything, but maybe that'll happen in the future. That ladder's just sitting there because we're going to work on the door here, but anyway, we built all the iron that goes around this and cut it in all the tail lights and made the mounts, and it's quite a conversion project to make one of these up. We ground all that smooth, and it's just primered right now, but anyway, someday I'll get it painted. I think I'll do full Volvo yellow on this thing. Paint it kind of like a Volvo Esquire, charcoal Volvo yellow, maybe even do the cloudberry handles and grips and stuff. And it just took a lot of work to get this truck into production, but I think we did a pretty nice job with our fabrication work. When I got the truck, the hood was rusted out, so that's a brand new old stock hood. They had the big bed on there with like a crane that picked up the floating bridge. We had to cut all that off, which meant we had to go in and redo airlines. We had to make a dump pump mount, which was just about impossible working space up in there. Change over our hydraulics, and then we ended up plumbing airlines in, and we have our solenoids there. The air solenoid we can switch between the winch and dump box. We can also run the dump box up and down. And you had all the PTO and everything. They all stayed at the factory controls. I also got lucky, and I got brand new seat cushions and everything for these trucks. And I even got all the upholstery. And apologize for the bad lighting here. New floor mat, original. So everything in the cab is basically brand new in this truck. It looks good. This has got the Goodyear tires on it, and yeah, it's worked out very well for us. Lights up here are hooked up with these down here. Now over here, this is an A2. This is a M928 A2. And an M928 had what I call the bridged frame. We'll call it bridge frame. It's got that frame rail reinforcement there. Now, if you notice, this 928 also has 1400 by 20 tires and duals on it. Now, that box over there on that truck, it came on an M812, which was the old 800 series bridge trucks. That truck was a piece of junk, but the box is good, rear ends are good. And I bought this truck to replace that 812, and I went to throw the duals on. That's where I started to find out all this information about these rear ends. So I ended up buying that truck, putting the box on it, replaced the 812. Well, this truck here was a good truck. This came out factory with a troop bed. I think it was a 20-foot troop bed. This is a 928. It would be the same as a M925, just longer, or a M927 is the same, except the 927 does not have a winch. 928 is a front winch. Anyway, I got into these rear ends off the other truck, and I started measuring, and I said, hey, I can probably put those old 812 rear ends underneath that 928. Well, they were hydraulic brakes on these axles, and a 28's air brakes. So I got looking around one night in my phone. I was actually, ironically, I was sick. I was laying there in bed, and I was looking on my phone, and I found this guy up in Canada who made air brake conversions for a 800 series truck. So I contacted him. He said he'd done one set of the rear ends. I said, well, shit, I can make this thing into an air brake rear end and it'll match that 928. So we took the rear ends, broke them completely down, cut all the hydraulic brakes off, put the air brakes on, and all the S-cams and everything. Added all new lines, used the factory hookups. I did have to add a blowdown valve, and all the factory hookups go down. Routed everything, nice and neat. And what do you know, I was able to get a set of dual rear ends, the heavier rear ends, out of a earlier version truck. And I can have 1420 duals, and I can have the newer series A2 truck. Now this A2 truck has a 505 Cummins in, turbocharged, 250 horsepower. I think it'd probably go about 270. This truck, I got the interior redone on it. I also got a hard top for it, but we're doing body work on it. I did redo the exhaust stack to a single. It is straight pipe, but then I ended up finding these Michelin XL tires. These have been out of production, but I actually got new tires. I found a guy had some brand new ones. Then the front wheels on this truck, I had a machine shop take some factory dually wheels and cut the centers and move them so I could keep the track for these rear wheels. This did have central tire inflation system on it, as most of the A2s do, and we went ahead and removed that. And we ended up adding the steps. We duplicated the M945. So basically this truck and then the M945 are identical. They're the same wheelbase, they're the same everything. We just gotta lob off this extra back here and put a butter box on like that. So I'll actually have two trucks the same when I get done. But this I believe would be the only A2 version 945, even though it's homemade, in the world. I don't think anybody would ever have a truck like this anywhere out there. And when you do projects like this, you start to realize how many problems there are and how many changes there are and all the headaches that come into play when doing a project like this. But I do have a very good haul truck there, and I'll have a second one. And I've actually got a air conditioning kit coming for this one. So it'll be cabin there. Actually, this truck will be a little bit nicer than that old one. The old one, I got a company that's going to build me a turbocharger kit for it, which should put up to similar specs to a NTC 290. And it should bring me up from about 245 horse, something like that, 240, whatever it is factory, to about 280, I would think. And that'll make it move a little better. This truck's actually got a little more snap to it. It's housed in auto, just like the other one. But this particular truck, something you can do with these that you can't do with a like a actual ADT or 6x6 articulated dump trucks. You can get on the road just like a regular semi at 60 miles an hour. And they may not plow mud quite as well, but they definitely get around very, very good. These bigger, heavier rear ends out of those bridge trucks, they have full lockers in them, which is quite rare on some of the other trucks, whereas this truck would have been factory. There you can see where the original exhaust was. I had to trim that off. I need to cut this little bracket plate off yet. Anyway, I got all this routed up and around. So a lot of body work to be done, but we're getting there. And it isn't like a car where you're going to have it just picture perfect either. There's no need to. But yeah, it's a little dusty sitting back here in the corner. But anyway, I wanted to show you guys these. Like I say, it's been on my bucket list to do a video about them. So any questions about them, ask in the comments. I know these military trucks are kind of a unique thing, and I know there's a lot of them out there on YouTube, but like I say, I don't think anybody's gonna find another one quite like this one or that one over there. Actually, the company I purchased that one off of, asked if I wanted to do a conversion on others and possibly go into like a marketing on them, which I do not. It was enough work just getting that one done. That 928, whatever the hell you want to call it, the other one over there, or it started as a 928. It's just got to get a box, otherwise it's getting pretty well done. So next step would just be paint. By the way, this has got the factory dual wheels in the front. That one over there, I had to have those dual wheels made. You can see there's a spacer ring in there, but the front axle on this truck is different. Again, uses all specialized axles, whereas the other one, I just had to have the front wheels custom offset to where they tracked the same as this truck does, which is actually dead center of the duals is where they track, just like a dually pickup. Anyway, thanks for watching, and please make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're a new viewer. I appreciate it, and give it a thumbs up. It helps a lot. So anyway, have a good one, everybody.